Welcome on in, my Ashwings, to another installment of the Silver Age A to Z series. Today, we are covering Bravo Flattering Showman. Now, you'd think, well, Alex, why aren't you just covering Bravo first and then covering Bravo Flattering Showman? And I'm going to be entirely honest, it's the same name, which does not really change a whole lot in regards to this format, but if there are ever any specializations, they can also be put in this Bravo. But also on top of it, it's just the better Bravo. This is just the better Bravo to be playing, because not only do you get the same effect essentially as the previous Bravo does, but you do also get the ability to give it +2, give your attacks +2, which is incredibly valuable in a young hero format. So Bravo Flattering Showman is going to be the Bravo I cover. If you do ever want to test out the previous Bravo, which is just pay to give your next thing that costs 3 or greater dominate, go check that out too. You can see what that's all about, but I think Bravo Flattering Showman is probably going to be the more broken version, quote unquote, of this. So let's talk a little bit about Bravo and see exactly what they've got going on. So of course, Bravo's ability, pay 2, tap Bravo Flattering Showman, turn a face down card in your arsenal face up. If it has Crush, it gets +2 and dominate this turn. Go again. So all you want to do for the long haul of everything that you're doing here is block, get a Crush card into arsenal, block a little bit, send Crush card with dominate, block, put Crush card in arsenal, so on and so forth until you eventually win the game. What we're doing here is we're actually going to play all of the Civic stuff as well as Helm of Ison's Peak. We're also playing Titan's Fist, and we're playing Steelblade Buckler. The reason we're doing this is just because we want a lot of armor to block out some of those breakpoints, so that way we can at least keep a card in our hand to put into the arsenal, and then we can continuously send this damage at our opponent and really kind of push damage. So let's go ahead and move into the main deck here. The main deck is pretty straightforward. It's all of your generic good Guardian stuff, all your good blues, all your good reds, and mainly a lot of cards that care about the Crush keyword. This is obviously because the cards need to have Crush in order for Bravo's ability to be active, so it is important to make sure that you're putting those Crush cards into Arsenal. But we're going to start with Boulder Drop. We're running the reds and the blues. This one is just good disruption, rips a card from your opponent's hand and probably then some, because they're probably going to want to block. Cartilage Crush, cost 3, comes in for 7. This is the rate we want a lot of our cards to be, because it just costs us then 2 blues in order for you to send this and then have it also gain dominate and +2 from Bravo's ability. So Cartilage Crush, not terrible. This of course taxes your opponent. And then we have Chokeslam. This costs a little bit more, but of course with 2 blues you can still do the same thing, in which you're paying 2 into Bravo and then flipping up Chokeslam and then attacking for 8 with Chokeslam. This one is cards can't gain more power, so that's always good if your opponent's on like an Ira game plan, right? They can't gain power on their second Kadachi. Crash and Bash, super powerful. It blocks 4, so it's already covering a breakpoint. And of course, you get a Seismic Surge token because, again, most of your deck is cards with Crush. So you reveal a card with Crush from your hand that you're probably just going to pitch next turn. And when you do so, you get a Seismic Surge token, which means that your next Guardian attack action is going to cost 1 less on your turn, which is good. Crush Confidence, this one just turns off your hero ability if it hits and deals 4 more damage. Crush the Weak makes it so anybody who's playing really low to the ground attacks can't really go wide, because if this steals the Crush ability, they can't play attack action cards that cost 3 or less, or that attack with 3 or less base power. Debilitate is again 4 power, or 4 cost, so you have that same rate. But this one makes it so that your first attack this next turn gets -2. This is great into any heroes that like to go tall, because you effectively just get to say, hey, you're only going to do 1 attack. Let's go ahead and reduce its value. Grind Them Down is another great 3 for 7. This one on Crush mills the top card of your opponent's deck. Usually your opponent's not really going to do much about this, but if it does hit a couple of times, I mean, that is 2 cards out of your opponent's deck that they're not going to be able to use. So it is important to at least keep this there. And of course, it is a Crush card, so you can still threaten more damage with Bravo's ability. And then we are running red and blue Thunderquake. The reason being is because worst case scenario, it blocks 3. Best case scenario, I get to send 10 at my opponent with the red and 8 with the blue. So can't really complain there. I mean, that's half your opponent's life total, especially towards the end of the game. If you're really just good at blocking and you wanted to keep a blue and a Thunderquake in hand, you can just go ahead and just send that. Or additionally, if you start the game and your turn 1 can be swing hammer at your opponent, pitch a blue to load Thunderquake into your arsenal, to heave Thunderquake into your arsenal. And now all you need to do is just keep a blue in your next hand and you're golden. You can send 10 damage at your opponent. So block 9, maybe more with your armor, send 10 damage. Your opponent has to block it. Otherwise, they're going to hate that. So pretty cool stuff there. We are also running Zealous Belting. Zealous Belting, I might actually just make a sideboard card in most scenarios here, but Zealous Belting is just really good for you to be able to go a little bit wider because you can pitch into Zealous Belting and then, of course, swing and attack at your opponent, or you can swing Titan's Fist, or you can swing Sledge of Anvilheim, so you can go 5 into 6 if you're trying to do that. So it's not too bad. The only downfall is it blocks for 2, so this is where your armor comes into play if you have to block with a Zealous. Macho Grande, of course, a great late game thing. It does come in. It costs 7 for you to use it. It can cost you 6 with a Crash and Bash Seismic Surge token, which is pretty good. Or if you happen to be able to know that you're going to be able to close the game out with a Dominate attack, you can heave any of these Thunderquakes to get 3 resources, and then to get 3 Seismic Surge tokens, I should say, to make this cost 4, which is pretty easily done with 2 cards if you happen to have them. Staunch Response, just great D-React. I mean, Staunch Responses are pretty good in a deck that likes to defend. You can throw this in Arsenal if you have this as an option. If you know your opponent's going to send a pretty big attack at you, putting this in Arsenal isn't terrible. Try to fake them out and make them think it's a Crush card, but your Crush cards are usually your Arsenal targets. And then in our inventory, we have Oasis Respite, just super great defensive capability, being able to block out oncoming damage to prevent on hits, and also can gain you life if you're less life than your opponent. Staunch Response Red, again, 2 block, 7, huge value, like just stupid good defense reaction. And if you pay 6, it blocks for 10. I don't know many defense reactions that block for 10, especially in this format outside of Staunch Response. So pretty good. And then we are running 1 copy of Withstand. It's a very rare thing. This effectively just gives +6 to your shield. So if you're running the shield, you can run this for another defensive capability. Maybe you're going against like an Azalea, or you're going against another Guardian, and you want to block with a card from hand and also your shield, but you play this, your shield blocks for 8 or 9 if you've already blocked with your shield before. So not a terrible card, but I haven't really done a lot in testing with Withstand, so don't think it's the truth yet. And then, of course, we are running Lowering Boots, Gloves, and Robe. We're going to try and keep the helmet because the helmet can at least get us an additional intellect if we have no more cards in our hand against Rune Blades or against Wizards, really Wizards, because you're probably running all these into Wizard. And that is kind of the thing. So, and then finally, Sledge of Anvilheim. This is just like the best value you can get out of a hammer. If you're going against another Guardian, this is kind of what you want to do. If you're going against a deck that cares about keeping all of their cards in their hand, you can run this as well. Because taking 4 is like, okay, but taking 6 and just like continuously cycling your hand and putting stuff in Arsenal is going to be pretty good to set you up for a powerful turn. So that is the deck here. What I want to go ahead and do is I want to run the deck into a Talishar cube, and we're going to see exactly how Bravo flatters the audience. All right, so we're going against an Aurora. This is actually pretty good for us, so we're going to go first. I think we probably just take out the Nilrune Gloves. I don't mind giving them a Vigor. All their stuff costs 0 anyway, pretty much. They can just swing Starfall at me. Other than that, I think everything else pretty much stays the same. I don't need to worry too much about some other stuff. I think I might take out Zealous Belting and put in Oasis Respite. It's probably the thing I'm going to do there. I'll submit. All right. And as I mentioned, right, this is exactly kind of what I talked about in our initial deck, is that we can very easily just go ahead and grind them down for 7. We can also, of course, just send this and this for 4. And then we can heave this Thunderquake into our arsenal. And then we can just attack them for 8. A 2-card 8 is exactly what we want to see in a young hero format. So, of course, we can also just put this Debilitate in there as well. But we're doing fine. We're leaking a damage. I will heave. Okay, perfect. So we just need to keep this blue in our hand and we're good. So most of what we're going to be doing here is just blocking. They are on triple Blade Beckoner and a Blossom of Spring. So I'm curious if that is that's the mode they're trying to go for here. I'd also like to keep this Boulder Drop in hand, but I think it's like that crazy. Again, we're not going to really try and block with our armor just yet. We're going to actually try and keep ourselves a little bit lower than our opponent because they're probably on Scar for a Scar. And if they are on Scar for a Scar, they would get Go again, Snatch. So this is really good to have. Now, of course, they could have Lightning Press here. But I'm just going to give them 4. Yeah. So that was a huge turn for us. I mean, that just sealed it pretty much. So we just get to go ahead and send Thunderquake for 8. We're going to put this red Boulder Drop in our arsenal, which of course is a Crush card. That's going to be able to get a lot of value out of it. You know what? I should utilize my cool thing here. Silly me. Keep forgetting I have a Talishar thing here. So this is just coming in for 8. So they're blocking, which is incredibly good for us because that just means that we have less to deal with on our turn. Okay. 4. We are going to do... I guess we can do this. I will reveal a Crush card. I'm going to reveal the blue in my hand. Get a Seismic Surge token. Okay, Starfall. I don't really care about Starfall. I'll probably take this damage. Okay, awesome. So now what we get to do here is we can actually go ahead and probably keep this Debilitate in here because we can pitch. This will cost me 2 instead of 3 because of the Seismic Surge token. So we can pitch like this into Bravo, flip over our Boulder Drop here, and then send Boulder Drop for 9 Dominate. Pretty insane value. And then, of course, we still get to put a Debilitate in there. So we're still going to need at least, unless we get another Crash and Bash. Well, I think even if we do get a Crash and Bash, we're still going to need 2 blues in our next hand. Odds are pretty good, but of course it can happen. They're blocking with everything here. So they're giving me a card and then 3 here. So they're still going to take 3. Yeah, they're going to take 3. So no Crush ability, which is fine, but we still did rip a card from them. And then I will Arsenal. With the many of these cards that are in their hand, I'll probably use a lot of my armor for this one here. I will not. I'm fine with that, actually. Probably don't need to run Null Rune into this matchup, if I'm going to be entirely honest. Aurora doesn't really do a whole lot of Arcane that's going to, like, change the game here. Let's see. We need to keep 2 in our hand. So Burn Up Shock's kind of powerful. So I think I'm probably just going to do this. I'll give you that. Next thing is going to have Go again anyway, pretty much. Popping Blossom of Spring. Playing Lightning Form. Oh, sweet, just a weapon. Technically, this does also, but I'm just going to block like this. Does trigger. Okay. Let's block 3. Math is good. Okay, so for 4. Theoretically, we're going to want to block this, but we'll take 8 if we don't block it. No, I think we still block 8 here. I'm fine giving them the shield. Yeah, we still block for 4 because it's gonna cost us more in the long run. We can just send Hammer here for 4 and just keep this in Arsenal. It's all about patience. Patience is kind of the big thing here, is making sure that your opponent is, you know, not going to overwhelm you. So we had them eat up that Quicken token pretty well, which is good. We have 1, 2, 3 block left in armor. They still have a Snatch left in deck. We are done with 1 burn up. They're going to take 4. Sweet. Okay, there's a Sizzle. There's a Starfall. This is for 5. I don't really care about the on-hit of a Starfall, so that's fine by me. The fact they had to pitch for that was also huge, too. There we go. I think I might actually just give... I might just give 6 here. And that's just because we're going to be sending 10 Dominate at our opponent. So that's their whole life. They're going to have to take 7 here because they already blocked with their armor. So we're already in a good position. All we need to do is do that again, and we're in a fine spot. And they're going to get -2 to their next attack. So if it's coming in for 4, it'll come in for 2. I can block with a Civic Duty, and it'll be pretty good. Because giving them a resource is fine if it means that they're not going to be able to use it. I mean, they will, even if they give me like every card in their hand on the next attack. They still can send that, but... So still getting the crush ability on this one here, which is good. Perfect. All right, our hand's not terrible. Okay, so for 2, so I can just give you... let's actually... Crush the Week's probably going to be more prevalent here, I think. So let's do that. Yeah. You know what? I don't know why I care. I have enough life. I don't know why I'm giving cards. Because I do want to put something in Arsenal too instead of blocking. So we'll see what they've got left. They can't play Starfall. Well, they can now, I guess. I think we can just send 7. Yeah, because they're going to have to block with 2 cards on their turn. Maybe I just take 4. Okay, they're going to Aurora. All right, still at 5, so not terrible here. Again, we are going to just send Crush Confidence, over pitching. For 7, they're going to have to give me 2 cards or they're going to die. So we're in a pretty good spot there. So we know we're going to rip 2 cards from them. Now they can deal 5 damage to us pretty easily, but we are keeping armor up specifically for those things. If they have the burn up shock, we have a way to get around that with Null Rune Gloves. Okay, 2 Arcana Crackles. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. And we know they're done with the snatches. Snatch is done. So we'll do that. Put this in Arsenal. Okay. So we just need to keep 2 blues. If we can do that, we're in an okay spot. They've got an Embodiment of Lightning. They have to pitch into Starfall. We still have 3 blocks. So this is it. We're just going to give them our armor here. And a couple of cards. They got a pump. Kind of sucks for them. Arcanic Shockwave fusing. You're going to deal 1 arcane to me. I will take an arcane. 7. Go again. No floating. Let's just give... See, the downfall here is that the staunch response is going to be pretty important if I need to block with it. And I don't think I do. Again, I just need to keep 2 blues in my hand. I think they can't send like 7 on this attack, so they can send 4. They're pitching into Starfall. Yeah, I knew what it was. It was a sigil. Duh. All right, I will just do this. Make an embodiment. All right. And then I just get to go ahead and Bravo. And Crush the Weak for 9 dominates. And that wins me the game. I'm almost certain of it, unless they're playing like Reinforce the Line, which I don't know that they would be. I also have the 1 float to prevent a shock if it really comes down to it, but good stuff. Good game. And yeah, that's pretty much the game there. So if you enjoyed watching Bravo, Flattering Showman do their thing, obviously the deck is, make sure to like the video, all that jazz, you know what I'm talking about. But I think the deck played very well. I think maybe Oasis felt a little clunky in that one hand because you don't really want to pitch. If I had like an instant speed ability to get a resource, maybe like a Blood Drop Brocade or something, that wouldn't be terrible to utilize it with. But effectively, we walked them down a little bit. And then once we were able to send large amounts of damage here at our opponent, they really couldn't block a whole lot of it. Also, getting the value off of a -2 for a Debilitate is just super good. The deck blocks insanely well. Guardians really just kind of have the best value when it comes to their armor. So that's going to happen. And then, of course, giving Dominate to every single one of your abilities. Sure, it costs like 5 in total for you to send something with Dominate, but it gets +2. And your opponent can't block it very well. So this, I mean, I'm swinging at my opponent's life for nearly half their life total several times in the game. And my opponent is, able to do 14, 10, and all that stuff. But you'll see that I'm able to mitigate that damage very well by just blocking. And it's all about having patience. Eventually your opponent's not going to be able to threaten as much sending at you. And as long as you have a crush card in Arsenal, you're pretty much in an okay spot. So again, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure to go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel as well if you want more Silver Age content. Obviously, I've got plenty more coming in for the Silver Age A to Z series, so I hope to continue doing that. And of course, a big shout out to my channel members. I hope to have a little blurb somewhere in future videos that showcases the name of my channel members. I do appreciate you all providing your hard-earned money to me so that I can continue to make awesome Flesh and Blood content and really get myself going in the world of Fab Silver Age. So thank you all so much again for watching. I do really appreciate your support, and I hope you continue to have fun in the Flesh and Blood. And I will see all of you beautiful Ashwings in our next installment of the Silver Age A to Z series.